When Jeep said it wasn't so, they kept making a charge. When Chrysler said it wasn't so, they kept making a charge. Even General Motors said, this is not true. And they pointed out that Jeep is owned by Chrysler, is owned by Fiat, you know, or they have. So then the charge became, the president is working with the Italians to move jobs to China. Now we're laughing, but it's absurd.
And so Mitt Romney has told one lie too many. Everyone in Ohio knows that Mitt Romney is lying about Chrysler sending jobs to China, which puts Ohio Republican governor and Romney supporter in a very difficult spot when Norah O'Donnell asked him about it this morning on CBS.
Is Jeep creating more jobs in Ohio, or are they sending them to China?
No, Chrysler is the one automaker that has increased employment.
Michael Moore, I guess that settles it. I mean, there's John Kasich. He's a big Romney supporter. He's asked, basically, I mean, Norah put it straight, but the real question is, so Romney's lying about this, right? And his answer is, yeah, Romney's lying about it.
You know what really gets me about that whole thing with the Jeep thing is that Romney and his big donors, his money people, they purchased helped to purchase Delphi, which used to be Delco AC Spark Plug, which is where my dad worked in the factory at GM, and then they were kind of cut off from GM, and they bought them. And then they sold, like, you know, got closed down 24 factories. They moved 25,000 jobs to China, and then took auto money bailout, the auto bailout that he opposed. He took this money. He and his buddies, and Romney himself made about a $15 million profit. It was, I think, a 4,000% gain on his investment, what he put into it. There's a story in The Nation last week about it. It's just absolutely.
I think that sounds like more than your father made working there, actually, right? 15 million, I mean,
yeah, a little bit. But I mean, just so we're very conscious of this in Michigan. You know, we know what he and Bain Capital did. Yeah, you know, I actually live in a little town up north in Michigan, and we had the only department store in town, and it was owned by this company called Stage Department Stores. And sure enough, you know, a decade and a half ago, Bain Capital bought out Stage, closed down, I don't know, dozens and dozens of stores through the Midwest, and of course, and then our little downtown had this.
Is there any chance of Bain Capital buying you out and closing you down? They seem to be surrounding you, Bain Capital, in your where you live.
Yeah, well, again, I just think I'm very optimistic about the vote tomorrow in Michigan, and I certainly think Romney has cooked his goose in Ohio.
Well, you know, my theory of the case now is, if we are reporting an Obama win tomorrow night, and I think we will be, I mean, it's close, but I think we will be, I think the place where Romney absolutely sealed off victory is in this lie about the auto industry, not this hurricane. I don't believe that the hurricane changed what was happening here, which is what Republicans are going to want to say. They're going to want to say, oh, well, you know, the storm damage, the president managed to go out there for a couple of days, the campaign shut down, Chris Christie did his thing, and we lost it that way. No, no, no. I think you lost it on what you were talking about.
In Ohio, in Michigan, and Wisconsin, I would predict, I'm not one of these prediction pundits, but I would predict tomorrow that President Obama is going to do better with the white male voter, blue-collar voter, than he did in 2008. I agree. Romney, I think that should be seen, if he does lose, hopefully he does, as the main reason why, in the end, he couldn't get those 3 or 4 states in the Midwest that he needed to win.
And let's look at the other, I think, decisive thing in the Romney campaign, and that is, and by the way, the MVP of all of campaign coverage is not some man in makeup on television. It's this anonymous person at that fundraiser who secretly pressed record.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at that again.
Yes. Oh, one more time.
Yeah, one more time.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. And so my job is not to worry about those people. I'll never convince them that they should take personal responsibility and care for their lives.
I've never been at a Republican high-dollar fundraiser, but now I feel like I have.
I have secretly filmed them. So, I have been there. Well, of course, this tape, and God bless Mother Jones for getting it out there.
But let's just 1 second.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, whoever recorded that, and there's a reason to suspect
whatever minimum wage worker
in the working staff of the event who did that. That was a brilliant choice.
Yes.
Brilliant choice for history, for this country, an invaluable contribution.
I hope after the election that person comes forward, because we have a medal that we'd like to give them. But Romney, again, he's cooked at that moment. Because how does he come out of that? Well, he tried to come out by saying, no, it's not, I didn't mean 47%, I'm for 100% of the people. But it's like, how insane, really, to just dismiss 47% of the people. It would be like me saying, you know, just a hidden camera where I'm at a bar or something, and I'm saying, yeah, you know, 47% of the people who go to my movies are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if you actually have that attitude, well, then you deserve to lose. And if you think the 47% is that stupid, that they're going to go vote for you tomorrow? I mean, what does that say, really, what you think about the American public? You really must think we're a bunch of idiots.
And he was including in that anybody who takes anything from the government, any form of support at all.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a lot of time this weekend out on Staten Island with people who may not have been in that 47% that Romney was talking about 2 weeks ago, but they are now. They need it, and they need a lot of help, and they're getting that help, luckily. But he could not have comprehended from where he lives in the world who he really was actually talking about when he was saying that.
Right. As Bill Maher says, he lives in a bubble.
Yeah.
He's completely removed from the real world.
But quickly, are you worried about voter suppression coming up here? There's so many moves that they've tried to pull on this.
Yes, I am. But let me
in Ohio and elsewhere.
Let me say this, because I don't think this has really been pointed out. Voter suppression was one of the founding principles of this country. Our founding fathers suppressed the vote by saying only white male property owners could vote. And through the 200+ years, we've chipped away at the voter suppression. Blacks could vote, that women could vote, and now that blacks we had to have civil rights laws. There's been voter suppression since the beginning. So my plea to the 90 million people that are expected not to vote tomorrow, according to a USA Today poll, my plea to them, if they're watching, is to please, so many people fought for this right. It was so hard because we have fought voter suppression for 200+ years of this country. Exercise that right. Go to the polls. Don't stay home. Don't sit. It's only 20 minutes, and it's free. You know, it's your country. And selfishly, that I'm saying it too, because that same poll said that they asked the non-voters, if you did vote, how many of you would vote for Obama? How many for 43% for Obama, 18% for Romney. So clearly, there's a gold mine there of people that could vote for President Obama. And I'm encouraging people on my website and Twitter and all that. I want to get 1 million people to the polls tomorrow that otherwise wouldn't have gone by asking.
We all know them.
Just take some. We all know somebody
who's not going to vote.
We all know somebody, and make it your mission tomorrow to take that person out to vote, take them to lunch, take them to the bar afterwards, do whatever you have to do that's legal to get them to the polls, and they'll feel good that they did this, and then they'll maybe vote again next time. So I just think that's really important. And may I say too, just finally, I just before coming in here, I heard the same thing. Nate Silver, 91% a chance of Obama winning. Please, folks, don't do the end zone dance tonight. This is not safe. You're gonna look like what was the guy, the Dallas Cowboys guy's name?
Sorry, it's sports.
Well, he did that in '93. He did the end zone dance 3 yards out from the end zone.
Oh yes.
And the Buffalo Bill, Don Beebe from the Buffalo Bills, came up and knocked the ball out of his hand. And while he was doing the dance, and he wasn't even in the end zone. Let's not look like that tomorrow. That's why I said earlier, you know, Nate's been saying 70%, 80%, now it's 90%. Let's say it's 70% chance. Okay, that sounds good. But that means there's a 30% chance he isn't. And when you hear on the weather tonight that there's a 30% chance of rain tomorrow, what do you think? It's going to rain tomorrow.
The very
right?
best
Take it
baseball
seriously.
hitters there are.
Yeah.
Only are successful 30% of the time.
Cabrera from my team, the Tigers.
Right.
30% is all he,
Right.
and yet he's considered the greatest.
That's right.
But he only hits 30%.
Just takes that one swing.
Don't trust that this is in the bag. Don't do the end zone dance tonight. Everybody up in the morning, get out and vote, and get up there and get people to vote, because that other side, they're going to be out there.
Right.
They're going to be out there. Believe me, Republicans, they're organized, they're disciplined, they're up at 5 in the morning. You know, we're never up at 5 in the morning, Lawrence, unless we've been partying all night. So,
well, you've heard it from Michael Moore. No dancing tonight. Michael Moore, thank you very much for joining me. Coming up, voter suppression attempts and how the early voting is going across the country. Joy Reid's going to join us on that with Richard Wolff. And we're waiting for President Obama and the First Lady. They are about to appear at the final campaign event before tomorrow's election, the last time he will ever speak to a big crowd as a candidate. They will both speak in Des Moines, Iowa. We'll bring you that live.